Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ambassador Brink, have you spoken with the Chargé since they've been back in Kyiv?
I haven't spoken, but I have communicated with her.
What did she tell you about the status of our infrastructure there?
So I only saw one message that she had sent back, which just said it was jarring how close the Russians came to Kyiv.
Suggestion was that our infrastructure is sufficient to reopen. Is that what you're gathering out of this?
I didn't see details on that, and I wouldn't necessarily at this point be involved in that. But I did see a couple pictures which showed there was some damage to the outside of our embassy building.
Significant damage or superficial or what?
I couldn't tell. It looked superficial, but I don't have information on more than that.
We tried to pin the Secretary of State down the other day when he was here. Do you have any expectation of a time frame when you think you might be able to get back?
Sir, I can say, if confirmed, as soon as possible.
That's what we got out of the Secretary of State, too. Not very helpful. I get that, though. The security issues got to be resolved and at least deeply assessed before that happens. I get that. Well, how would you compare the challenges that you're going to face there to the other postings that you've had? You've had considerable experience in this regard. How would you compare this if you're able to?
Sir, if I just might say on your last question, I know that the team that's there on the ground right now is actively doing everything possible to return embassy operations as soon as possible. So I expect that they'll be able to do that very soon.
And I'm told there's other countries that are up and operating there already, I'm told. Is that correct? Is that your understanding?
I understand that too.
And we sure don't want to be last to the party, so we need to move along as best we can. Back to the question I asked, how would you assess the challenges you're going to face here to some of the other postings that you've had? You've certainly had a lot of experience in this area.
Sir, I would assess the challenge to be enormous, but I would also assess that from what I have seen, one of the most remarkable things about this effort is the presidents, the secretaries, and others bringing together this remarkable coalition to push back against Russia's war of choice in a way I don't think I've ever seen in my 25 years in the service. So I feel that we have the commitment and the motivation and the drive, and with your support and with your funding and congressional support and the support of almost all of the world, I think we can face this very enormous challenge. But I do not underestimate how much challenge the ambassador on the ground will have. But I also believe I have an excellent team of people working across the entire administration who are fully committed to succeeding in our goal, which is to help Ukraine defend itself.
Thank you. Ambassador Richard, I share the same concerns that the chairman has regarding what we heard today about these thousands of people that are in prison camps. I don't know how you're going to address that. One of the suggestions was, of course, getting them repatriated. I'm not sure that resolves the problem. I mean, simply being repatriated to where they came from doesn't seem to me. It sounds like you just letting them out of prison. And what are your thoughts on that?
Well, thank you, sir. Repatriation for me is a shorthand for repatriation, reintegration, if possible, or incarceration. What I think some of the countries of origin don't want to deal with is that exact problem. The best outcome, if we have evidence that people are fighters, is for a legal process that keeps them in jail. And that's going to be difficult to do. But it's what we have to press for, because the current situation is unsustainable, and just sending them somewhere and letting them go is also not a solution.
There's no question about that, and it's certainly an unreported problem. There aren't people talking about this, so I have no doubt you'll resolve it once you get it confirmed. Thank you. Ambassador Lascaris, the military council promised an 18-month election after they took power, and 12 of those 18 months are already gone. What's your assessment as to whether they make the 18-month deadline to hold an election?
Thank you, sir. As I mentioned in my statement, there have been pre-dialogue negotiations going on in Qatar. It looks like that's going to slip to the right. I think one of the key determinations I'll have to make, if confirmed when I arrive at post, is the quality of process such that a delay is understandable, if not acceptable. If it's not, then I think we have to work with our partners to push the process back into the right direction. But to answer your question, I think in 18 months probably will slip.
Yeah, I can't see how, where the 12 months have gone by with little progress, it seems to me that there's no question that it's going to slip. I'd hope you'll, and I know you will, urge them to move this along as rapidly as possible, because as we know, the people in power are just going to drag their feet, hoping to be able to stay in power. So good luck at that, and thank all of you again for your service. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Senator Murphy.
Thank you.